Say mama.
Tata.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a part 2 of how to be successful on your breastfeeding journey. And specifically, we are going to be talking about going back to work and continuing to breastfeed and pump. If you guys haven't seen part 1, I will put it here. I just talk about the tips and tricks that I have used to be successful at breastfeeding for going on 16 months now, right? And I am just so blessed, and I want to take a moment to thank God for giving me the ability and the body and the resources to help me for over a full year. Going back to work after having a baby is so emotional and so stressful, and adding the pressure of breastfeeding and pumping at work makes things even harder and more complicated. And in your head, you might be contemplating whether you can do this or not, but trust me, if I can do it, you 100% can do it too. So I got a new job when my baby was 8 months old, which required me to be in the office from 9 to 5, which was a huge shift from what we were doing up until that point. From when she was a newborn to the 8-month mark, she was exclusively breastfeeding on demand whenever she wanted. So we really just had no schedule. She wasn't even drinking out of a bottle because I was just there whenever she needed me to be. So me being away from her for 8 hours every single day was a major shift, and it was so stressful. I felt all the feelings. I know exactly the kind of pressure and emotions that comes with going back to work. So my number one biggest piece of advice is get on a schedule and stay organized. Now I know you might roll your eyes at that, but whenever you know you are heading back to work, make sure that your baby is kind of in sync with how it will be when not there every single day. That will make the transition so much easier. At my new job, I was given 2 weeks before my start date, so I immediately started making changes. I started implementing that bottle, aligning her feeding schedules and nap schedules, so it would be a lot easier when I wasn't there. Another big concern that moms have is how are they going to keep their supply up when they're not constantly with their baby and have only set times to pump. There's a schedule that I followed when I was at my 9 to 5 to maintain my supply and stay on track. So this schedule helped my body producing milk and gave my baby a consistent routine even when we were apart. Like I said, being organized is super important. So let's go through my diaper bag so you can see how I stay organized at work. Okay, so here's what I typically keep in my diaper bag. The bag is from Amazon. It is super nice. It is very spacious, and I can always fit everything that I need in it. So another common concern that I know a lot of moms have is having that conversation with your employer that when you return, you are going to need to pump. Just know that this is your right. You 100% need to be given the ability to pump at work. For me, I had this conversation after I was offered the position. So I received the job offer, accepted it, and then before my first day, emailed them stating that I was going to be pumping and figured out the logistics from there, just the scheduling and where I would be pumping. You do not need to disclose that you are pumping or pregnant or even that you have kids in an interview. And I know this looks like a super nice pump room. Not all job locations have something as nice as this, but it was not always like that. When I first joined the company, there were a few pumping moms, and we actually had to pump in the closet because they did not have a designated spot for moms to pump. So we were pumping in a printing storage closet, and then we moved locations and got upgraded to this nice recliner and our own personal fridge and freezer. Now, I know another common concern that moms have when they go back to work is where are they going to store their milk throughout a long workday. And if you don't have a fridge available to you like this, I highly recommend getting a lunchbox or a insulated bag where you can put an ice pack in to keep it cold throughout the day, and then get it in the fridge or freezer as soon as you get home. So I'm using the Spectra double electric pump, and I normally pump for about 10 to 15 minutes. I highly recommend investing in a hands-free pumping bra. I never got around to doing that, but I definitely wish that I would have ordered one. It would make things so much easier. So if you don't have a sink or don't have the time to wash your pump parts, especially if you're pumping multiple times a day at work, you can do the fridge hack, which is simply just putting your pump parts in a clean bag in the fridge and then washing them all at the end of the day. You don't need to wash them each time in between sessions then if you're keeping them cold in the fridge. Remember, it is your right to pump at work under the break time for nursing mothers law. I know a concern that I had was how am I going to keep up my supply and energy when I am working for 8 hours out of the day. So the number one tip, of course, is hydration. Make sure you're getting that water. It is recommended for breastfeeding moms to have 16 cups of liquid per day. That doesn't all have to be water, but a good majority of it should be. So every time you pump, have a cup of water. Right when you wake up, have a cup of water. Try to implement that as much as you can throughout your daily schedule. I know it can be super hard getting distracted, but especially when you're pumping, make sure to take the time to drink a cup of water. So again, circling back to being organized and having a schedule, if you meal prep or meal schedule, this will help you out so much. I recently started meal prepping my breakfasts and then at least scheduling out what we are going to be eating for dinner. This has helped me keep my energy up so much throughout the day, especially if you're working and you don't really have time throughout the week to plan what you're going to be eating and the grocery shopping and all of that. I highly recommend doing it on the weekends. Some things that I've been doing in the morning are protein balls, oatmeal, bagels, eggs really help me keep my supply up and give me just that extra boost of energy, and also packing a snack in your bag as well. Make sure you are managing your stress levels. I know it can be hard to manage when it feels like you are juggling 100 things at once, but really just taking time to rest, give your body the right amount of sleep, some stress relieving things like going for a walk, getting your exercise in, journaling, spending time with God, whatever it may be. 100% it is important to take a little bit of time for yourself. I have a freezer stash that will definitely help when you are going back to work, because obviously you can just de-thaw those bags of milk and have your baby drink them when you are not home. So I'm guessing that I have high libido milk because my baby will not drink my freezer stash. So what I pump at work, she will drink the next day. Like, it has to be fresh for her. She's a little extra like that. So what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have a freezer stash, don't worry, you can still make it work. That is 100% how I function. She will drink the milk that I pumped from the day before. I know that going back to work is so emotional, and I just want to say, if you are watching this video, you are doing amazing and I am so proud of you. And just remember, you will get through it. The first few weeks are definitely the hardest, and then you and your baby will fall into a routine and all work out okay. Showing up at work and showing up for your baby is an act of strength, and you got this. Alright guys, that is all. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.